Evil, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Airship Collector. Its continuing mission to destroy strange new worlds, to stomp out new life and new civilizations, to boldly grab where no heroic warrior has been grabbed before. Welcome to the official YouTube channel of Eternia.com. I'm your host AJ, and today we're doing an unboxing and a mini review of the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe Origins Cartoon Collection Collector Airship. Now, this is the first time the Collector has ever appeared in Origins plastic. And you know what? It's the first time it's ever appeared in any kind of plastic. Because this vehicle first premiered way back in 1983 in the Filmation series He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. And I loved that show as a kid, and I always wanted this airship, as a toy to play with, but they never made it. But finally, better late than never, over 40 years later, Mattel made the Collector, and you knew I couldn't stay away from it. So let's get into the packaging right away. First, let's start with this glorious artwork. This time, there's two artists behind this illustration. It's Axel Jimenez and Francisco Echard. And they did an amazing job, recreating the Collector from the classic Filmation series. And I love this whole look. First, I love that my boy Web Store's inside the Collector, along with Skeletor. It's looking kind of narrow more than usual, but we'll talk about that. We have the classic Filmation Castle Grayskull. I love that. Hey, we got Tila and the Talon Fighter and Eternian guards on the Sky Sleds. And of course, He-Man, Battle Cat, and Man-at-Arms. So if we continue, the artwork stretches on both sides here, and look at that. There she is. We know we're going to be getting her in action figure form, hopefully with Swiftwind, is She-Ra and Swiftwind. And then the other side of this artwork here, let's see, look at that. We have the Imp, Hordak's little buddy. This almost looks like it's just a carbon copy of what we got on the Prince Adam and Cringer packaging. Imp was on the side of that box too. Let me see if I can still have this box. Let's hold on a second. All right, here we go. See, they're in the exact same spying position right now. Look at that. It's actually two different pieces of artwork. Yeah, it's definitely two different pieces of artwork, but there's Imp looking on. That's kind of funny. All right. And now let's move to the back of the packaging. Look at this. Look at this. I just loved it, as a kid when you got to see all the action figures of Masters of the Universe, displayed in some sort of battle scene. And here it is, over 40 years later, happening again. And I'm just as excited as I was, as a little kid. So we have all the cartoon collection figures out there doing the battle. I love this. And look at Web Store here. He's looking a little bit purple in his Photoshopped. I think he was Photoshopped in. And there's Evelyn, and she's looking a little less yellow than the actual figure. Whole controversy about that, but we're not going to get into that today. But I love this shot. What's interesting here, though, the Snake Mountain, it's not part of the cartoon collection. Yes, it's Origins, but this is not the Snake Mountain that we see in the cartoon. It's a different shape. It's a different form. So it's interesting that they added that to, this scenario here, considering it's the cartoon collection subline, and that Snake Mountain certainly isn't. So, all right, enough looking at the glorious packaging of the Collector. Let's get to the meat of it, and let's take it out of the box and take a closer look. So here is the Masters of the Universe Origins Cartoon Collection Collector Airship out of the box and in 360 degrees. And so far, I'm loving what I'm seeing. Now, first, in regards to these fins here, these actually came separately in the box, but all you have to do is snap them in. It's really easy. But boy, do I love this airship. Now, I can tell in regards to screen accuracy, it's really not going to match exactly what we saw on screen. There has been some deviations made, not in just scale, obviously, but in regards to the shape of the collector and definitely the color. So, Filmation purists might get a little upset over this. I'm not sure, but for me, I'm loving what I'm seeing. Oh, I love this extra detail. Okay. But you know what? Let's get this off the dais, right? And let's just take a closer look at it and see how screen accurate it really is. So in regards to screen accuracy, let's start with the exterior of the collector airship. And let's begin with the elephant in the room, right? And that would be the ship's color. I think people are going to perceive this, especially in person, as a grayish blue color. And the way human beings perceive colors differently, I think in person, some people are just going to see gray. But what we saw on screen in the Filmation He-Man and the Masters of the Universe cartoon, that collector airship was actually colored blue, this dark, rich blue. So there's definitely a color change made here, and I'm not sure why. Now, one color change I do appreciate is the actual windshield. And it's not really a color change because they're both yellow from what we saw on screen and what we see in the toy. But Mattel used a translucent yellow plastic that actually changes the aesthetic. But I'm glad they actually used this translucent yellow plastic because now we can see the figures inside if you're displaying them on your shelf, which is very, very cool to me. Now, in regards to the shape, they pretty much got the collector right. I think the front of the ship is sloped a little differently, and I think the fins are shaped a little bit differently, but there's still two fins. The three ribbings are fine. The design above the eyes is a little different. And it looks like they added some extra detail on the base here, like these vents here. I think they actually look really, really cool. They weren't in the cartoon, but I think they add to the look. Now, what is really funny here is this is the door to the collector. So if you watch the collector in the cartoon, it is actually a massive ship. And you could watch Beastman fly a sky sled out of this doorway. So you could just imagine how big this would actually need to be if it was the proper scale in regards to the origin figures, right? I mean, this is like Godzilla in regards to how the scale should be. So they actually really scaled down this ship for collectors, and I don't have a problem with it, but some people might. But there's no way Beastman would fit through there as a door. Now let's check out the interior and see how accurate that is. All right, now let's check out the collector's interior. And again, in regards to screen accuracy, in regards to scale, this is a lot tinier than what we saw on screen. Everything's so cramped, where in the cartoon, it was a lot more spacious, but that's okay. So there, let's start with the gold throne of Skeletor. It's really not a throne. It's more of like a captain's chair. It looks pretty cool. In regards to accuracy, it has some of the bone structures right. It's got some, it looks like it has the head on each of the armrests. It doesn't quite match what we saw on screen. No, but it's still cool looking. And then you have the pilot and the co-pilot chair. And then you have like the throttle controls. I think this is, oh, look, it's articulated. I think this is different from what we saw in the cartoon. These would go straight up versus out from side to side. And then look at these controls. These are the iconic controls that would shoot the beams. One of these controls is supposed to be blue and the other one's supposed to be yellow or orange. I don't remember the color. And what would happen is if you shoot the blue laser, it could turn people, the collector can turn people into stone. And then if you shoot the orange laser or yellow laser, what happens, you could shoot it at a statue and bring something stone to life, to attack the heroic warrior. So it would have been cool if these were the right colors, if one was blue and one was orange yellow, but still, I'm happy these controls exist. All right, so now let's see what else is going on here. I'm not sure what this is. Maybe you clip the Havoc staff in here? Yeah, we're going to have to give that a try. And in the center in here, looks like one of those big circular clips. Looks like it's supposed to support like a base or stand, but there was no like base or stand included in the box. Yeah, look at that. It's supposed to pop right through. So, it supports a base, but it just doesn't come included with one, which is disappointing. But otherwise, I think that's roughly it in regards to the interior. You know what? Let's get some figures in here, and also let's see if we can get a Havoc staff in there. So let's get the Evil Warriors in their chairs. But before we do, let's test that theory out. Let's see if we can clip in the Havoc staff here. Yes, there we go. Okay, so that's what it's designed for. I'm not sure how well Skeletor's legs are going to fit underneath his Havoc staff. I'm not going to play with that now, but at least we finally know the purpose of that clip. All right, so gentlemen, will you please take your seats? Starting with Skeletor in the captain's chair. We're going to put Webstore in the co-pilot chair. Skeletor, can you please hold it on his crotch? The grappling hook there. And then finally, and this is going to scare me here, we're Beastman. He's going to be in the pilot's chair, holding the throttle. Come on, let's see if we can make this happen. That's not too bad. All right. And there they are in the collector. Now let's close the hatch and see if we could see them pretty well in this translucent window. Not too much, right? You know what? I wonder if we threw a light in there, how cool that would look. All right, so let me stop the camera real quick. Let me get a light. So let me put it inside and we'll see how that looks. All right, so let's illuminate the interior of the collector with this small little flashlight. Now, if you're going to do this on a permanent basis, you wouldn't use a small flashlight like this. You would probably wire this with LEDs, with some sort of floodlight or something. But I just wanted to take a quick look to see how this looks inside with a light. Oh, it looks rather cool, doesn't it? Looks eerie in there. I'm not sure how well we're going to be able to see Skeletor, though. Let's take a look. Yeah, it's really hard to take a good look inside, all the way up and back. Yeah. You know, it's not bad, but I think this is not going to be a great way to display it. And it's just really based on the size of the windshield. If the windshield, the translucent plastic, was larger and you didn't have to be at the right angle, I think this would be a really great way to display your cartoon collection figures, you know, inside, sitting in the collector with it all lit up. But the way the window is actually designed, yeah, I don't think it's really going to work out that well. You know, it's better just if you're going to display them, you know, inside, better to have the hatch open. Now, in case you were curious, because I sure was, this collector can fit the Classics Club Grayskull figures as well. They all fit in there pretty well. You know, the only problem I'm having is that Beastman's hands won't reach the controls, you know, won't reach the throttle. So now if I was going to permanently have them in here, I would have to like modify this. But other than that, I think it works pretty well. And you can also shut the hatch. So how cool is that? So in regards to accessories, the collector only comes with these two translucent blast effects. And while the collector does shoot like these red-orange lasers, and these are indeed screen accurate, I do wish the blast effects that we got were the stone effect blast effects. You know, when we were talking about the controls before, where the collector shoots out a blue laser that turns heroic warriors into statues, and then the collector shoots out an orange laser that turns statues into living creatures. And it's been really neat, at least for my taste, to have, you know, those two different colors. But other than that, in regards to action features, you know, these rotate, but also these come out as well, you know, for that clutching heroic warrior action. So let's see if we can put a heroic warrior in its grasp. And there you go. Skeletor has captured He-Man. So what do I think of the Masters of the Universe Origins Cartoon Collection collector Airship. I just love it. You know, this is really a Filmation He-Man and the Masters of the Universe fans' dream come true. Just to have a collector realized in plastic finally after all of these years that fits figures just makes me so happy and warms my heart. Yes, there are some issues in regards to screen accuracy. Yes, the scale is obviously different, but yes, the color is different and some of the sculpting is different, but still, you know, you cannot help but look at this and recognize right away it's the collector and how cool it looks. You know, this is a long time coming. This should have been realized in plastic a long time ago, I think, with the original vintage line, but regardless, I'm so happy that after such a long wait, we have it now, and I can't wait to put it on my shelf with the rest of my cartoon collection figures. So that's it. I want to thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.